Last week, the Obama administration announced new changes in terms of their diplomatic relations with Cuba that will more easily enable travelers to visit the island nation. The changes revolve around a couple key areas. First, U.S. travelers since 2011 have been able to visit Cuba for one of 12 reasons, mainly originating around family and friends, but also to engage in education, assisting the Cuban people in terms of humanitarian, so-called people-to-people trips that allow visitors to visit with Cuban nationals and learn more about them, and journalistic events. The changes announced last week removed the requirement that travelers receive a license in order to make these trips. The system is now much more of an honor system, where visitors are still required to have a reason for visiting, but they no longer explicitly need a license. The new arrangements also allow visitors to spend more money. The previous limits were about $500, and now it's an unlimited per diem in terms of spending amounts. Travelers can also bring back up to $400 in Cuban goods. Travelers will still need to book air travel to Cuba through charter services, as the two nations have not yet come to an air travel agreement that will enable scheduled services to Cuba. The negotiations for this new phase of travel is expected to take place throughout 2015, but changes are not expected until 2016. When it does come to be, American Airlines is expected to be one of the biggest beneficiaries, as they have a large presence in the Miami airport, home to the largest presence of Cuban nationals in the US, and also a mere 90 miles away from the Cuban coast. Travel to Cuba is expected to continually open up over time, and for now, people visiting for the strict purpose of tourism is not allowed. Further discussions are expected, and at some point in the future, this is expected to occur. One limiting factor, however, will be the Cuban infrastructure. Cuba is severely lacking in hotels, roads, and other transportation requirements that will enable travelers to easily get around the island. In the short term, this will significantly impact the number of travelers who are able to visit the country, and any agreements regarding air travel will probably put a strict agreement on the number of daily flights to and from Cuba. U.S. residents will be allowed to travel to Cuba for business purposes, as long as they don't do it for the specific purpose of promoting Cuban tourism. The country opens up a new market for U.S. export goods. It is a very small market, as the Cuban people do not have strong spending power. Overall, the loosening of regulations represents an exciting new opportunity, but things are expected to happen gradually rather than all at once.